Welcome back and thank you very much indeed for your time this morning on TV3Newday and so many messages for my Ghana brothers and sisters. Well, I just had to do what I had to do. I have left that segment, so I'm here now. Let's concentrate on what's about to happen. Happy birthday to Honorable Andre Japamesa, his Deputy Minister for Energy. He's also the MP for Sekunde in the Western region. Also, a happy birthday to Seraphine of the University of Ghana. Also, a happy 87th birthday to Mr. B. Opoku, famously of Dansoman, and if you're around Dansoman, you know B. Opoku. Yes, that's him. He's 87 today. This is from Nini Kola Shali, the first, the Kanisha Manche. He says, happy birthday to you and from all your children as well. Happy 20th birthday to Shakira. This is from your dad, Sofian, of the Institute of Local Government Studies in Tamale campus. Mrs. Ama Ampa is with the GTP and she's now project and business controller. Happy birthday to you. This is from Mawina NM and all your family. Also a happy 50th birthday to the best mom anyone could ever have, Madame Cecilia Ban, from your children Pamela, Kusia and Rhoda. And last but definitely not least to Philemon Isel, a final year student of the KNUST. This is from Moses Yeboah at Media General. Happy birthday to you. If it's your birthday as well, we wish you all the best. And we pray that the good Lord will shower his blessings upon you. The Daily Analyst this morning reports that brace up for more rains. Meteo warns after Tuesday heavy downpour. At Chimota Forest Saga, government reclaims St. John's lands after leakage of Gargantuan whale. Miracle Duka and team crash illegal miners on River Tano. Ablekuma residents to storm ECG office over intermittent power cuts. Maybe I should join them, because I've been a victim. Musa Superior pushes for NPP Welfare Fund and Kwa mixture to be relaunched today. The Republic Press is next. What does it say? It says on the front page, no one will inherit Sir John's alleged land at the Achimota Forest. The land minister says so. Africa business leaders to storm Kou in October. Girl 16 stabbed to death over boyfriend. The big banner headline, NPP strongholds elections, all eyes on Jeff Konedu for Eastern Regional top job as Wuntumi fights for survival in the Ashanti region. SP charges Jaben, bribe MCE, and also minority calls for probe into Achimota Forest lands declassification, said in Parliament yesterday. Daily Statesman. Former Jabin MCE nominee charged with 26 counts of corruption and 16 days to the Green Ghana Day. I have not seen the accounts for the last, except to say I saw that we spent 12 million to plant 5 million trees. We're going to plant 20 million trees. We have not told the success rates of the trees and where the trees are, the impact and all of that. It's important that we know. It's our money. The big banner headline, Ministry of National Security says, see something, say something. It's an initiative. Call 999 or speak to your community leader, local police chief or DCE. It's important that you do. The custodian says, see something, say something. Same thing, government to audit Achimota Forest land. I hear Gamanche has also put together a committee to find out the real owners of the land. Daily Graphic, creating economic model, focus on Africa's interest. President charges states, financial institutions. Audit Service wins award. See something, say something campaign launched. Floods, put your surroundings in order. Meteorological Agency advises. The BNFT, inflation targeting framework still effective. Addison, rising prices coming from global shocks. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area loses $5 billion yearly to third-party payment systems as AU makes case for PAPs on regional capital market integration, of course. Maybe two more and we go. The Finder newspaper calls summit to attract over 500 political and business leaders. St. John's lands nullified, declassified Achimota lands to be audited, according to the minister. Nanado rallies support for AFDB for the bank to better the lot of Africans, and vigilance of citizens crucial to terrorism 5, according to the government. The Ghanaian Times this morning, at the AGM of AFDB in Accra, let's develop African economic model to serve interest. President OSP charges MCE. Well, same stuff there. Finally, the Daily Guide. Sir John owns no land at Achimota Forest. Rain strip Accra naked. And Jabin NPP chairman charged for corruption. Jeff Konedu kicks off Eastern Regional Chairmanship campaign. Nana pushes for economic reform. And a belated happy birthday to the Lord Chief Justice, Justice Enin Yeboah. It was your birthday 2 days ago. Happy birthday to you. Quickly, lawyer Roxanne Nelson Echit, the Fiamapo, is joining us here. He is the Member of Parliament for the South Dine constituency in the Volta region. Also, George AEC is the national PRO of the National Disaster Management Organization. And this morning, we're joined by architect Tony Asaris, the member of the Ghana Institute of Architects. Gentlemen, welcome. Good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, thank you.
Today is AU Day.
Yes.
I'll start with you.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
Well, it's a day that growing up we look forward to as students and young people because we've got the opportunity to be educated on the principles of African unity, the importance of the African continent coming together as one bloc, one people.
Right.
The principles underpinning AFTA being bandied about are the principles underpinning the African unity.
Right.
There's strength in unity. There's strength also in Africa as an economic bloc. You know, so I find it difficult that we want to downplay the importance of AU Day, and then we want to go about eulogizing the principles underpinning AFTA. But whatever it is, Africa as a continent ought to unite. We want to be one people. There's a conference presently ongoing to speak of the continental unity, but structured on block basis. That is the unity of West Africa as an economic bloc. So they are talking about one currency, one economy, borderless, to enable our traders trade across.
We've been talking about this since forever.
Yeah, these are things that are
yes.
These are things that are sitting on paper. Very lofty ideas, things that if we encourage and implement, it will bring comfort to a lot of people. Look at how the Europeans have come together to form the European Union, and look at the benefits that it has for their people. So there are good models that we ought to learn from. We introduced it, Nkrumah introduced it, and Europeans borrowed it from him. Asians are coming together to form what they call ASEAN, you know, Association of Southeast African Countries or Nations, and they are doing well. You know, so there's a North American treaty, so that's America and Canada. Right. They have their alliance. So we need to come together, like others are saying. If we can't do it in bloc, let's do the sub-regions. Okay. Let West Africa unite as an economy. Let East Africa unite as an economy. Let SADC unite as an economy. Let the Maghreb, which is the North Africa, then they let them unite as an economy.
But Nkrumah, Dr. Nkrumah had a bigger vision. The AU, the Organization of African Unity, 61, which now has become AU. He had a bigger vision. He had a United States of Africa.
Yes, the African High Command, one army.
And then he had envisaged development agenda of Africa.
Yes.
Not for Africa. Yes. Because there's a difference.
Yes,
when
I agree.
They create AGOA and the rest for you, it's
for you. Africa.
Yeah, you are not part of it. It's packaged and given to you, but of Africa.
Yes.
Have we lost track?
Yes, we have. You know, when he was overthrown and his peers also were overthrown around that time, we lost track. But sometime 15 years ago, we decided to return to those lofty ideas and championed by Gaddafi. Right. So you recall that Gaddafi was making a lot of efforts. And the idea was that even if we could not proceed to achieve that at a goal as a continent, we should do the blocks. So I love the block idea. Let West Africa, so it's a model. Let West Africa unite as one economy. Let the Maghreb unite as one economy. When after some time they stabilize, then all the 5 blocks, so West Africa, the Maghreb, SADC, which is the Southern Africa, the East African bloc, and the Central, then it will be easy for the 5 blocks to then come together. And I can understand why after, for instance, it's gaining momentum, because that is the essence.
Right. George, so we are together as a union, but we all have autonomy. And if you look at what's happening in other countries, there's an AU chairman, but there's very little you can do, because if
you're powerless.
Yes, I mean, look at Mali. Our president is ECOWAS chair. look at what happened in Mali. He literally cannot say, hey, stop it. He can only appeal. So what is the essence of coming together if we cannot crack the whip and whip ourselves into line?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning to you. Good morning to my colleagues. Good morning to our viewers. Happy birthday to Honorable Ejapa Mesa. And
Bobo.
Yeah, Bobo. And on Kofi Kekeri Bonzi, the second vice chairman for Central Region, and deputy CEO for Koda. Today is his birthday. Tomorrow will be mine as
this
well.
Is pre-mix greetings.
You see,
but happy birthday in advance.
Yeah, in advance. Thank you. Yeah, the way Osagyefo started it was very forward-looking. The primary objective of uniting the whole of Africa. But some people thought he was being, is it overambitious or whatever. It was good. The African High Command. Look, when ECOMOG went to Liberia, I was so excited. I don't know why we have decided to, leave that. Otherwise, we will not be asking why Mali is doing what Mali is doing. Yes. Yeah, we went to this Yaya Jammeh man. So what has happened? Okay, so the objective was, but I thought maybe some of the leaders then didn't understand the vision of Osagyefo. Okay. They thought he wanted to lift himself. But that wasn't the primary objective. He wanted to bring the whole Africa together. And we have now come to see with European Union, what they are doing. 50 years later, that if we become one, we'll have a solid economic bloc. We can trade amongst us. Right. I agree with lawyer Honorable that if we take it from the blocks, the sub-regional blocks, and then it will be easier to sync them to become an African bloc, and then we take it from there. But I don't want to think after it's being looked at differently from the AU.
No, that wasn't my point.
Yeah, okay, thank you. After it's a baby of the AU, and it's to strengthen us economically, and I think the African leaders should. They've accepted it, but let's see what contributions we can make towards it and what businesses we can do. Yesterday, when we had the African Development Bank chief executive saying, is it remittances or something, had to go somewhere.
Yeah, before it bounces back, yeah.
Yes. That's the payment system.
Yeah, payment system. And by the end of the day, $5 billion
it's gone.
Leaned off Africans.
As fees.
As fees.
Transactional fees.
To other continents. Okay, it's not good for, and it even weakens us further. Okay, because these amounts would, how much do we go for when we go to the
go and beg.
No, the economic loans. Those
but that's begging. It's begging.
Oh, you mean the international market?
Yeah, international market.
20 million.
We go for sometimes 1 billion, sometimes
Africa beyond begging.
No, Africa beyond aid is something I believe in, and it's a solid vision that I believe in. If we come together and work towards that, we can achieve that. But yes, AU Day, we let's look at it again. Let's go back to 1963 and then all the way down. And then as lawyer said, 15 years ago, the revitalization of the process by Gaddafi. Unfortunately, some believe it's part of the reason the West did what they did, to get the Gaddafi out of the way. Which leader is going to stand up to, support, bring Africa together, okay, so that we can travel this path? It's very important for us and in our collective interest. Economic bloc and then security-wise, the African High Command is good. ECOMOG should be revived. ECOMOG should be revived. And they're given more power.
You are a disaster man. Let me ask you, is Africa disaster ready? So we saw what happened in Sierra Leone. We're trying to pull everybody together. It had to take largely the West to come to our aid. And we have seen in
Are you a disaster man or you are a disaster fighting man?
Oh. I can say you're a lawyer man. You're a lawyer man.
He's bringing some mischief,
He wants to put mischief in the thing. But then, I mean, is Africa disaster ready? Such that you're calling for, yes, a single command. We're calling for an economic plan. We're calling for a developmental plan. But in terms of disaster, are we ready? So that even if Togo has a problem today, Ghana can swiftly move and say, You are one
quell
of
it.
Yes, I want to help you.
We have a long way to go. I've had the privilege of being at some workshops where disaster managers have gathered from the sub-region and even sometimes from the continent. And it's like most of our policies and programs are Western driven. You know, you go, the funding, virtually everything is from the West.
Right.
Okay, but some countries like Gambia and co, their disaster management officers is situated in the office of the vice president. You get it. They put a premium on that. Are we able to support ourselves? Sometimes, yeah. When Sierra Leone happened, I think Ghana moved and
we gave them a
others,
donation.
yes, went in to support. But we have a lot to do, and we need to focus or bring the lessons on disaster management and make it a serious issue. Okay, there are you know these conflicts and co, they are all part of disaster issues. Okay, and so let's look at it. This landslides and co, how prepared natural, how prepared are we to respond to them, and floods and co. Like you said, if the way Ghana, we are saddled with these flooding year in year out, which country in the sub-region of Africa that has the expertise to be able to come in to intervene to help us, surmount it, even though we may have far-reaching policies like Gary we want to roll out. But we have a long way to go, and we need to make it a focus to work on.
Okay, let me ask you, is Africa developing in the right direction in terms of architecture? We always boast about Egypt and talk about that's the cradle of civilization, talk about their pyramids and all their, ancient stuff. You go to other African countries that had the benefit of the colonial masters, castles and forts. We have the largest number here. Look, for example, how we have maintained them, how we are not cashing in properly, and it cuts across large portions of Africa. Are we going the right direction?
Well, I think we are struggling to go in the right direction, and obviously the fundamentals of not going in one direction is there culturally. I mean, if you take, for instance, the various languages, if you take even Ghana and Nigeria alone, I mean, Nigeria has got some 250 languages, and it means 250 cultures. In Ghana, 50 something, so we have all these cultural barriers. And then also we have the colonial underpinnings where we have French-speaking countries against English-speaking countries surrounded, surrounding each other in a way. So it's difficult to define what an African architecture is. So if you look at, for instance, I mean, the Egyptian architecture, I mean, the mode of celebration has to do with life after death. But what do we celebrate, for instance, in a Ga culture or an Ashanti culture or in a Mosi culture? What actually is the emphasis of our development? But then also, what is even more important is what do we do to make it contemporary? Because, I mean, traditionally, if we were building a palace that didn't have power or water, or having settlements that had maybe waste disposal system outside the town where we carried our waste, and went through them.
Conservancy laborers will come in.
Yes. Now we want to collect rubbish at home. How is the contemporary demands of the use of space also affecting our design of our homes and all that? And then also, because of this need for a lot of things foreign and all that, our kitchens, which used to be what the muchia, and all those things, now is becoming, it was kerosene stoves, and then now it is gas. And then so
electric stoves,
kitchen
before
in fact firewood, charcoal, kerosene, gas, that,
and now it's electric.
Well,
so all these things are changing. So in the right direction, I think we are designing for contemporary needs. Yes. As to in terms of identity, are we showing enough of our identity? That's a question that we have to answer.
But you are the people who we always will run to you to say, architect, design something for me. What do you tell people when they come to you?
I mean, your best bet is to educate the person, and let the person know whether culturally you could design something that mimics maybe their local culture.
Okay.
But you know, there's this balance so that people don't want to live in a concept. People just want to live.
Right.
You know,
right.
because the primary demands when it comes to housing, when it comes to health infrastructure and all those things, you need to meet those needs first before we get to the level where we are now looking at, you know, public identity.
Okay.
You know, but then there is also the bigger issue of you know, the national corporate ownership. You know, what do we want to where is our focus? Is you know, what I'll call fractured ownership of public facility, what we want. I mean, if you spoke to any British person or anybody in the West, you realize that in their houses they build with temporary materials.
Yeah.
Timber, plasterboard, gyprock, and stuff like that.
And why is that?
Yes, because it can change easily, and it doesn't really belong to anybody, and it can be demolished easily. But when you look at their public infrastructure, I mean, Westminster Abbey and
permanence.
they spend a lot of money, yes, to be able to do, because that ownership is there. And that ownership goes into maintenance. But our fractured ownership when it comes to buildings and some of these things also affect our culture when it comes to maintenance. So it's a very complex issue when it comes to all these things, but we can only address them using education.
I hear you. Well, join us with your thoughts and comments on the show.